Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, oh, Ruby's full of despair. She's gonna snap. It's gonna be heartbreaking. Whoa, my singing is crap. That's the closest we're ever gonna get to a RWBY musical video on this channel. Probably for the best, to be honest. Hey everyone, I'm your only mate, and it's time for another episode of RWBY Volume 9. This week, it's episode 5, The Parfait Predicament. And hey, this episode's actually titled this time. Unlike the last one when I recorded one of these. I'm watching you, Crunchyroll. But yeah, episode 5, we're already at the halfway point. I mean, we've wasted, like, a couple years for this volume, and now it's already halfway done. But before I start talking about this episode, I just want to remind everyone that you can watch this along with me. You can go watch it on crunchyroll.com, or if you just want to support RWBY, you could, again, watch it on crunchyroll.com, roosterteeth.com. There's still stuff that's up on YouTube. There's video games, manga, comic books. Like, you don't really have an excuse to not support this show legally. With that obligatory reminder out of the way, on with the episode. And it starts with RWBY running through the forest, away from Herb's mushroom house, understandably freaked out about all the hallucinations that they all saw. Curious Cat shows up, saying that, well, they're glad that the girls are still the four of them. And Weiss is understandably mad, saying that it's their fault for ditching them in the first place. And we find out that, according to the Curious Cat, Alex had a similar reaction when she went through that. I don't blame her. So we come across a market in the middle of a lake that's under a flower. I guess you could say business is blooming. I'll get my coat. RWBY hops onto the lily pad to, get there. And we get this opportunity to ask the Curious Cat, what exactly happened to Herb? And the Curious Cat explains that whenever someone in the ever after wears out, breaks, or stops fulfilling what they were meant to do, they're returned to the ever after and remade. It's reincarnation. Let's just call it that. It's reincarnation. Although they call it ascension here, so at least it's given a name. Saves me having to say return to the ever after and get remade, like, over and over. Like, just ascension or reincarnation, one of the two. Blake asks a question that I'll admit I was wondering ever since that episode, which is he dead? And Curious Cat here says, no. Well, sort of, but not at all. It's a good thing I'm not in this situation because, I think RWBY would have to go for a higher rating. So we get to the market, and the girls ask that happened to the Red Prince as well, right? And that also gets cleared up. We find out that the Red Prince and the Red King are the same person. And what happened was the Red King lost to Alex, couldn't cope with it, returned to the Ever After, and got remade into the Red Prince. And now his purpose is to win the game at all costs. And calling back to episode 2 when the girls said that Alex lied and cheated her way through most of the book. Yeah, she totally cheated in that game, and yeah. Although, kind of ironic that when you really think about it, if the Red Prince didn't cheat by shrinking Weiss, Blake, and Yang, he absolutely would have won. So, cheaters never prosper. Unless you're Alex, apparently. And upon realizing that, yeah, this is actually some pretty big stuff that Alex left out of the book, and wondering what else she left out, the Curious Cat mentions another meta joke that exposition is incredibly boring, much like this conversation, and much like this video, at least by their logic. And I kind of want to call out an obvious joke, and it's just this rooster with human teeth. That's good stuff. So the Curious Cat starts listing off ingredients that they need to make the Grogut Parfait. And much like RWBY, I cannot remember for the life of me what they say, aside from the last one, which is Leprechaun Nose Hair. The Curious Cat says that, well, they'll go and get the rest of the ingredients, while RWBY looks for a teapot lady. and immediately gets distracted by what looks for all the world like a Korok from Legend of Zelda. Would I have to do something stupid at their booth, like dive into a convenient circle, or just place a rock in a pattern that matches other rock patterns, or shoot a balloon maybe? Just to get anything from them. All I know from them is Breath of the Wild, so that's about the extent. Yang suggests that she go with the cat because, well, rather that than it get distracted by a shiny doorknob and never come back. Which gets Blake to chuckle a little bit, crack a smile, and volunteer to go with her. And I kind of find it amazing that just this moment alone, no joke, after the episode came out, I saw Bumblebee trending on Twitter. Just from this. That's all it took. You know, if they trended just from this moment, what the hell's gonna happen when they kiss? The internet's gonna explode. I'm just gonna come back from work one day, not be able to get on anywhere, and then it's gonna be on the news saying that the internet is blown up. There'll be chaos worldwide because no one can log on to anything, get information, or whatever. But for me, it's Blake and Yang kissing, like, I suppose it's worth it. And Weiss wants to go with them because she does not want to be anywhere near nose hairs. Weiss, you know it's going in the parfait, right? So she's going to have to be near it regardless. And Little stays with Ruby. So as everyone goes their separate ways, Little is on top of Ruby's head, saying, "Onwards!" A couple seconds later, gets a little sleepy. You know what, I was expecting a smash cut this time, but hey, they didn't do it. Also, it's not Little saying that they're going to be a guide, so it's not the same joke, but it's similar. Not that that's a bad thing, of course, I still like the joke, but I think twice is enough. Okay, maybe I'd be alright with a third one. Anyway, Ruby is checking all the stalls for a teapot lady, and then everything goes dark. Oh no, she's in the Shadow Realm! She sees a bright light, no doubt a millennium item. Oh, wait, it's the fire from the blacksmith, right. God, I'm such a nerd. But Ruby also finds another one of Penny's swords, and even asks the blacksmith where they got it, saying that she thought it was lost forever. And I'm here like, Ruby, you know there's more than one, right? The blacksmith asks Ruby if they're doing this alone, and Ruby responds saying that, well, their friends are just somewhere else for the time being. Little wakes up saying they're probably not supposed to be there, and the blacksmith asks Little, "Are you her guide, little one?" And Little says that Ruby is their friend, and they're trying to help her get home. Even if they don't know where that is or how to get there. And I've said before, I'll say it again, bless Little, they're trying. Like, they don't actually know how exactly to get there, but they just want to help Ruby, okay? I think we could all use friends like Little. Actually, I'll be kind of amazed if we don't see plushies of Little. Like, to scale and everything. Kind of a missed opportunity if they don't do that, if you ask me. I mean, then RWBY cosplayers could just have a little just in their hoods. Food for thought, Ruby. Anyway, the blacksmith does also comment that Ruby carries a large burden with her. Ruby insists that she can handle it. Ruby, look, just... I get ya, but... I'm worried about you, okay? Though a couple of odd things happen. First of all, Ruby looks into Penny's sword and sees a reflection of Penny looking back at her, which isn't disturbing and heartbreaking at all. And then it turns into a dagger, which has a reflection of Alex in it. Okay, that raises a few questions. Ruby does tell the blacksmith that she has a weapon, or at least she did. Yeah, still wondering where the hell Crescent Rose is. The blacksmith says that if she changes her mind, she can take one of these ones. And that's when this axe catches her eye, and note how it's also per rifle, so it looks like it's something that could have been from Remnant. Ruby is fixated on it, and we see a reflection of Summer. Okay, so I have a few questions. But before anything can happen, everything's gone and Ruby's just outside with her friends and the cat. Okay, I have several questions. Like, was that just in Ruby's head? Because it can't be, because Little was there too. Like, was that just like a shared illusion thing? Did that actually happen? I have a lot of questions about the Ever After. And something important to keep in mind, I am an idiot. Anyway, Ruby decides not to share what just happened, and the group asks if she was able to get the leprechaun nose hairs, and she was not. Ruby, you had one job. But everything's alright because Blake spots the teapot lady immediately. They go to the store, find the nose hairs, and there's fireworks going off, which do look pretty, and they start to spell danger. We also hear the Hawk from earlier, who's named Hawker according to the credits, by the way. I see you with those names, that's good. Calling out that it's a Jabberwocker, and everyone starts running, and even the curious cat looks scared. The teapot lady panics and starts sucking up all their wares, including the nose hairs, which, credit to the curious cat, they do hang on for dear life. Ruby states that they need those nose hairs, but the teapot lady says there's no time. Ruby looks to her friends who need to get back to normal size, and the nose hairs are what they need for that. So she does something that I was not expecting, and oh boy. She takes off her emblem and offers it to the teapot lady, saying that it contains a mother's promise. Oh god. Okay, so this emblem, that's gonna be like the last thing that Summer gave her before she disappeared. And just the fact that she's been like holding on to it all that time, it's just like, oh my god. But with the nose hair secured, Blake oddly asks the curious cat what a Jabberwocker is. Although I'm pretty sure Blake said the name Jabberwocker in the second episode when they were recounting the story. So, does she just know the name and not what the creature actually does? I mean, we found out that Alex left stuff out of the book, so maybe she skimmed over that detail. But we learn that if a Jabberwocker eats someone in the Ever After, they cannot ascend. So that's permadeath. The gang get a move on and just put all the ingredients together to make the Grow-Gut Parfait. All three of the girls eat some. They grow a little bit bigger, but not enough. The Jabberwocker shows up. Ruby tries to flee, but the Jabberwocker is able to smack her, and they drop the parfait. It's actually at this moment, I won't lie, I got a little annoyed. Because this episode is called Parfait Predicament, they just got it. They grew a little bit, but then it immediately got, like, knocked away from them or onto the floor. I was just thinking, please don't tell me this means they have to get another one. Spoiler alert, they don't. But it did make the episode a bit more tense for me, so can't complain, really. Although, it spills onto the Jabberwocker, and the Jabberwocker grows. So, yeah, that's not good. Hawker attacks the Jabberwocker, and we find out that the curious cat just gave him a new purpose. Okay, that raises several questions, but no time for that. The girls need to get the parfait and get big again. However, Hawker is not doing so well. But reinforcements arrive in the form of the Rusted Knight. And can I just say, I love how excited Blake is to just see the Rusted Knight in person. The girls get the parfait, and Yang steals my line and says, finally, because the girls are back to normal, it's time to kick some ass, and it's at this point in the video where we get another lyrical track, and this is when you know it gets good. Weiss and Blake tie down the Jabberwocker, and Yang decides to do some bull riding. Then we get a team-up attack of Weiss throwing the Jabberwocker into the air, Blake kicking it back down, and Yang just holding up her fist with her semblance. I love these team-up moves so much. But the Jabberwocker disappears into pink particles. The girls put two and two together, and Blake is the one to point out that it's Neo's doing. Not only that, but even more Jabberwockers show up, which, gets the Rusted Knight scared because he states that there's meant to be only one. And yeah, at this point, the girl's got to get out of there. They run, and I kind of want to call out the Curious Cat because they say, we'll hold them off. But when RWBY looks back, we only see Hawker fighting them. And you can actually hear Hawker dying in the background. So, don't know what that wee nonsense was all about, Curious Cat. Also, kind of have to say it, buddy, no! After all this destruction, RWBY is there for Weiss, and Weiss says that she's tired of leaving places in ashes. Man, the life of an anime protagonist. Not all it's cracked up to be. But on to the end of the episode, and look, Blake is just so excited to actually meet the Rusted Knight in person, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, Blake is just living every nerd's dream. Don't deny it, you fantasized about being inserted into one of your favourite stories ever, meeting the cast and all that. Blake is living that dream. And just seeing how happy she is, like, it makes me happy to see her happy. Though it's short-lived because the Rusted Knight thanks his steed, which is named Juniper. He takes his helmet off and it's Jean. Which, okay, one, cooled it. Two, he got older. So, that was unexpected. The team are all shocked as John says he finally made it. And that's the end of the episode. Okay, I want to start by saying, I know I, did make some, jabs and jokes, here and there, but just want to remind everyone, none of that is serious. It's just an attempt at being funny. But yeah, I love this episode. I have a few questions in regards to that scene with the blacksmith, and I'm still worried about RWBY's mental state. Look, we know she's gonna snap at some point, and now that Jean's here, yeah, she's gonna be learning some news soon, and that's, oh boy. I still love seeing Blake just, happy about just, meeting the characters from this story that she loves. The combo move, like I said, against the Jabberwocker, that was awesome. And look, anytime there's a lyrical track in the soundtrack, I'm just that much more excited for the full thing to come out on iTunes, or, whatever, just so I can listen to the full songs. Now, Jean as an old man, okay, so Jean's been here for a while, and given how that was revealed, I'm gonna guess that the next episode is a Jean flashback episode, or at the very least, a good chunk of it is gonna be a flashback. Because, honestly, after this, I want to know, how things went for Jean all this time. So, I'm hoping for at least some of a flashback in the next episode. In fact, it kind of dawned on me that, for all we know, Jean could have Crescent Rose. Maybe he found it on the beach after he landed, and he's just been holding on to it this whole time with the hope that maybe he'll find Team RWBY. That's just one thought I have on how RWBY can get Crescent Rose back. Also, so if Jean is older, then it stands to reason that he's the Rusted Knight from the story, because leading up to this, we all knew it was Jean. We all knew. But a speculation I saw was that he took up the mantle of the Rusted Knight. But this kind of implies that he is the Rusted Knight from the story, so if it's a flashback in the next episode, maybe we'll actually see Alex and get some more info on that, because, look, we know she left stuff out of the story, so I think it'd be kind of cool to actually, see all of that from Jean's perspective, and maybe get a bit more of an inkling on, how Alex was, and, all that. And, I do have a thought about Neo because of this episode, and it's about her semblance buff, and I kind of think it just makes her too powerful. Because, okay, before, her illusions could be shattered in one hit. But this Jabberwocker took like a super-powered combo strike in order to finish off. Also, it could consume the Grogut Parfait and actually gain the benefits from it. And presumably, these clone Jabberwockers can still, like, eat beings in the ever after and prevent them from ascending. Yeah, the implications on that, I kind of think Neo is just too powerful at this point, which brings me to a thought that I do have about Neo's ultimate fate by the end of this volume. I don't think she's gonna turn good and join Team RWBY in the fight against Salem. Look, since she can make all these Jabberwockers, and we know that a Jabberwocker can eat beings and they won't be able to ascend. My question is, how would that work on beings that are immortal? Because, in a way, it's kind of just existence erasure. So, I'm just saying, if she could make a Jabberwocker army and that's what defeats Salem, I'd be kind of annoyed. In fact, kind of is an understatement. So yeah, that's just a thought I have, that this volume seems to have made Neo a bit too powerful. But there is something that can come from that, which I still hope happens, and it's for Team RWBY's semblances to evolve as well. Like, I really want to see that happen, and, you know, against Neo's, like, clone army, like, whether it be clones of her, the Jabberwocker, she could make Torchwick clones, and that could be a way to bring Torchwick back in a way. Or who knows, maybe she can also make clones of, like, various other characters that we've seen throughout the show. But yeah, I think Team RWBY semblances evolving, and perhaps overcoming that would make an awesome scene. And I do have an idea for Blake's that I have mentioned in a Max and Mate video. I would like it if she could not only have her shadow clones fight, but also that she could make clones of those that she's close to. Kind of similar to Neo's, except it's a little different. Like, seriously, imagine if she just suddenly makes a Yang clone that fights alongside her, or she could summon clones of different characters. I know I'm basically describing Neo's, like, upgrade, but the difference is that Blake would just make one. Plus, for all I know, there are different limitations to Neo's semblance, like, maybe she can only make clones of just the one thing. Like the title of her song. But, yeah, I want to see their semblances evolve, overcome Neo's, because, look, she's too powerful at this point, and I don't know if she is going to turn good. I'm not exactly hoping for that. Though this does raise a question, and it's just like, is the Jabberwocker dead? Because that's still a bit up in the air, and I hope it's not, because if the Jabberwocker is just like this big threat, Neo just shows up and kills it immediately, it would kind of... I don't know how I'd feel about that. I also feel like at some point there's going to be a big summer-related reveal, because we've had, like, 2 references to her, like, back-to-back. We had Shadow RWBY bring up, even she lost in the end. And now this episode, we see what's presumably her weapon, and RWBY mentioning that her emblem contains her mother's promise. So they're building up to something with Summer. Not too sure what exactly, and part of me is a little scared of what that might be, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And speaking of bridges, that's like the one trailer scene we have yet to see. So most of the rest of this volume is just completely blind. All we know about the future is at some point Salem's face is going to show up, probably through Neo, or some hallucination, because that can also happen here, I don't know. And there's going to be a whole lot of clouds and Yang attempting to cross a bridge, which many people do anticipate that is going to be the Blake and Yang kiss moment. Honestly, like, if they want to frame it like that and have, like, the sun come in when it happens and make for some gorgeous lighting, I'm honestly all for that. Because as much as I do just want to see it happen, because it's been building up, like, so long, would like to wait for the right moment, you know? But yeah, we're already halfway through Volume 9, and, oh boy, who knows what's gonna happen in the next half. But anyway, I am gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. If, you know, you like my thoughts on RWBY, there should be another video on my channel of me and Max a Few Trays talking about this episode. Or you can go to Brobuscus's channel, where I, him, and Aiden talk about it as well. So, that's another thing. If you want to hear more in-depth thoughts, whether it be from me or others, like, those are options. But yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for watching, all of that stuff, and restarting a cycle, here is my RWBY outro. Bye.
This is Ruby Rose, and you've been watching Your Only Mate. Bye!
Bit more of an inkling on, like, how Alex was, and, you know, all that. Oh, boy. Oh, God. The price of drinking Pepsi while recording.